The crisis in the maiden T20 franchise hosted by the Cricket Association of Nepal has deepened with reports of players walking out of the tournament alongside claims of match fixing. Zimbabwe all-rounder Sikandar Raza was among the first high-profile cricketers to return home midway, which suggested that things were not right with the much-touted tournament, whereas players refused to take to the field yesterday, citing lack of payment. Good morning, I'm Abheudaya Shrestha, and these are the headlines of the hour. Public services feeble as passport department halts issuing passports, citing system errors. Community schools without books. Leaders and state officials abuse budget in Sudur Paschim. Government revenue depletes alongside foreign reserves. The country's loan goes up by 284 billion rupees in the period of 1 year. The U.S. House of Representatives fails to elect a speaker in the first rounds of voting as Republican Kevin McCarthy falls short of securing a majority. And football legend Pelé laid to rest after having his coffin carried through the streets of Santos in Brazil as the public pay their final respects to the sporting great. In a bid to put an end to the compulsion of service seekers to queue for hours to receive public services, Prime Minister Pushpakamal Dahal has issued a 30-point directive for all ministries to improve their service delivery within 3 months. Prime Minister Dahal, who is leading the government for the third time, has said that he would take the responsibility of policy-related issues, but added that the officials had to perform their responsibilities and show results. After interacting with secretaries for 2 days at the office of the Prime Minister in Singhadarbar, Premier Dahal prioritized good governance, service delivery, and issues of public life, saying that the civil service mechanism had a significant role in transformation of the country. Dahal directed officials not to shy away from their responsibilities. He also urged the secretaries to maintain a cordial relationship with ministers and facilitate in ensuring improvement in government services. Prime Minister Dahal has also urged the secretaries to communicate with him any grievances related to ministers. Likewise, saying that only 11% development expenditure was spent in the first half of the fiscal year, Premier Dahal said that things weren't as fine as explained by the secretaries. Premier Dahal also showed the secretaries of poor economic indices which depict that only 25% of the revenue target had been achieved so far, alongside 28% total expenditure and around 11% capital expenditure by 30th of December. Premier Dahal has prioritized improvements in education and health, reducing the number of unnecessary federal officials, ease in access to public transport, curbing corruption and coronavirus cases, and easing other public services. Premier Dahal also urged for reducing import by winning the confidence of the private sector, direct monitoring of national pride projects, and strengthening ties with friendly nations. Saying that issues related to foreign employment had to be addressed at the earliest, Prime Minister Dahal also directed the officials not to attend meetings and seminars during their office hours. It remains to be seen if Prime Minister Dahal, who had promised of walking the talk immediately after assuming office, is successful in delivering his assurances to the public. The task force formed to prepare the Basic Common Program of the government has made preparations to issue its draft. Members of the task force representing different parties of the ruling coalition have already submitted their points to the coordinator of the task force, Deputy Prime Minister and Minister for Finance, Vishnu Paudel. Paudel has said that contents of the report is to be given a final shape. Parties of the coalition led by CPN Maoist Center Chairperson Pushpakamal Dahal, including CPN-UML, Rashtriya Swatantra Party and Rashtriya Prajatantra Party, have prioritized public issues requiring immediate solutions. They have stressed on finding solutions to complications related to passport, national identity card, fertilizers, drinking water, road and transport, and customs. The government had formed a 4-member task force led by Deputy Prime Minister Paudel for the preparation of the Basic Common Program a week ago. Meanwhile, Prime Minister Pushpakamal Dahal met with CPN-UML Chairperson KP Sharma Oli yesterday evening. The meeting held at the official residence of the Prime Minister in Balwatar had delved into preparations for the vote of confidence and giving full shape to the government. Appointed the Prime Minister on 25th of December, Dahal is set to receive the vote of confidence on 10th of January. The Department of Passports has postponed distribution of passports, citing issues in its system. At a time when crowd of service seekers has been increasing at the department and the district administration offices, the entity has informed of complications in the distribution of passports. Issuing a notice yesterday, the Department of Passports has said that issues had begun surfacing in its system from 1st of January, resulting in problems in status checks and distribution procedures. The department has said that it would take some time to resume passport-related services. Meanwhile, the department has urged the service seekers who had booked their appointment dates for passport applications to reach the department on the scheduled date to record their biometric details. With regular issues in the server, service seekers have been facing several challenges in filing their application forms. The recent problem in the system has halted the printing of new passports and distribution process. The department has further said that service seekers would be informed about the resumption of the services through SMS. The government allocates budget for hilly districts of Sudur Paschim every year. However, the trend of development projects remaining stranded in the region has continued. The Mansuta irrigation project in Koteli of Navadurga Rural Municipality of Dareldura district that began construction some 36 years ago receives budget each year, however, has remained stranded for decades as those involved in its construction have adopted the trend of demanding additional finance support for completion. Locals say they have given up on the project coming to life. The construction of a bus park in the headquarters of Bajura has also remained stranded for a decade, despite the budget being allocated every year, showing financial irregularities worth billions in the hilly districts of Sudur Paschim. More than 80 projects are reported to be stranded in Dareldura alone. Political leaders and public officials have been alleged of financial foul play in these projects. In our Public Voice segment, we had asked people in several provinces what problems have they faced while receiving public services. Let's take a look at what they had to say.
Public Voice. एउटा नक्सा निकाल्नु पर्यो भने हामीलाई 3 दिन धाउनु पर्ने हुन्छ।
अब एउटा किताब कार्ड खोल्नको लागि गर्नको लागिलाई हामीलाई लगभग 10-15 दिन जति लागिरहेको छ।
नक्सा निकाल्नु पर्यो भने दिनभरि अल्टाइदिनुहुन्छ, त्यो नभइदै हुन्थ्यो। घर भाडा कर्तिन आउँदाखेरि कोही पनि हुनु रहेनछ।
यताको फन्डमा जाँदा भने पैसा नभएन यो मालपोत कहिले सुध्रिएन।
आफ्नो नागरिकता बनाउन आउँछौं, जस्तै आफ्नो परिचय पत्र बनाउन आउँछौं। 2-3 दिनसम्म हामी घरबाट 8-7 बजे निस्केर आउँछन् घरबाट।
1 घण्टामा हुने कामलाई 1-2 दिन लगाइदिनुहुन्छ। आफ्नो पहुँचको व्यक्तिहरुलाई चाहिँ अगाडि काम सार्ने।
At a time when government revenue has been depleting alongside the reducing foreign reserve, the loan of the nation has increased by 284 billion rupees in the period of 1 year. The foreign loans have increased as the collected revenue is spent in funding the remunerations of the officials and current expenditure, while the country has to depend on foreign aid and loans for development works. According to the Ministry of Finance, the foreign loans have increased by 16% from 1.723 trillion rupees last October to 2.007 trillion rupees. In comparison to the gross domestic production, loans have reached 41%. Until last October, external loans had figured at 949 billion rupees and have now increased by 1.05 trillion rupees. Meanwhile, internal loans have increased more than external loans. Experts are of the opinion that the government should not increase loans any further. The internal loans have increased twice in the past 5 years and have been spent in unproductive sectors, while projects funded by foreign loans have not been effective, which has further hurt the national economy. Grievances of students of community schools not receiving textbooks on time is a perennial issue in Nepal. Students are unlikely to receive their textbooks on time for the coming academic calendar as well. Delay in the printing of textbooks is attributed to the failure of Janak Education Material Center in procuring adequate papers on time. The Sustainable Development and Good Governance Committee of the Parliament has now expressed its interest in the delay in printing of textbooks due to shortage of paper. A total of 24 million textbooks are required for students of grade 1 to 12. For this, textbooks have to be printed from the mid of August. However, citing the shortage of papers, the Janak Education Material Center started printing the textbooks only from 20th of December. The center has so far printed only 2.5 million textbooks. Around 10,000 tons of paper is required to print all textbooks. Saying that contractors cannot procure 6,000 tons of paper, the center has urged the government to make arrangements for the procurement of papers through government-to-government model. Following the delay in printing of books similar to previous years, the Sustainable Development and Good Governance Committee of the House of Representatives has expressed interest in the issue. The committee has directed not to delay printing of books on any pretext. Parliamentarians have also stressed on the establishment of a paper industry to find a sustainable solution to the problem. Teaching, learning process and examinations are seriously affected because of the delay in printing of textbooks. This also leads to the drop in the quality of education. However, the government is yet to grow serious towards ensuring timely supply of textbooks at the beginning of the academic calendar. It is highly likely that students will not have their textbooks in the beginning of the next academic season as well. It's time now for our segment Public Pulse, where you text us with your opinion.
Public Pulse.
Here's the question. What do you think of the authorities' failure to print books for community schools on time? Your options are A, negligence of Janak Education Material Center, B, government apathy, and C, commission game. The voting is on. Type NEWS, select your option A, B, or C, and send it to 34001 to share your opinion with us. It's time now for the sports news.
Sports news.
Nepal T20 League, that was speculated to become a milestone achievement in the development of cricket in the country, has been drawn into controversies after Cricket Association of Nepal reached a commercial partnership agreement with Indian company 7-3 Sports without calling for any tender. CAN, which cancelled its first agreement with 7-3 Sports and signed another one with the same company, yet again finds itself in controversies. Risks of the tournament coming to a halt midway have increased as 7-3 Sports has failed in providing remunerations to the players on time. The first match of the league between Kathmandu Knights and Biratnagar Super Kings yesterday morning was delayed as players of both teams were yet to receive their remuneration. Jatin Aluwalia, main representative of 7-3 Sports, was not in contact with CAN as well. The players, however, agreed to enter the ground after assurance of CAN of their remunerations by today. Players have said that they will decide on their next steps based on if CAN provides their remunerations within the promised time. Nepali and foreign players of Biratnagar, Kathmandu, Far West United and Janakpur Royals have not received any remuneration. The current owners have also been suspected not to be the real ones. CAN had reached an agreement of 330 million rupees for 8 years with 7-3 Sports. CAN should have received 39 million rupees in the first year. However, only 12 million rupees has been deposited in the account of CAN so far. Based on the one-door policy, franchise teams are to provide remunerations to the players through 7-3 Sports. However, the league has also been alleged of match fixing, while commentator Sachin Timilsina quit the broadcast team citing foul play. Even the Ministry of Home Affairs has directed the Central Investigation Bureau to probe into the matter. In another context, the foreign player of all franchise teams have been playing in the tournament without their work permit. The national cricket governing body CAN has remained a mere spectator amid all the controversies surrounding its own project, which was previously expected to develop cricket in the country. No entity has so far shouldered any responsibility for the failures and surfacing of new complications. Six-time champions Manang Marsiangdi Club have crashed out from the first round of the 22nd edition of the Aharara Gold Cup tournament. Foreign Team of America, Bhutanese Youth Sports Club BYSC secured a 1-0 win over Manang yesterday to secure their semi-final berth. Manang Marsiangdi Club, who featured a young side under new coach Kiran Shrestha in the last quarterfinal of the tournament at Pokhara Stadium, were stunned by the visiting side. Praveen Basnit scored the solitary goal of the match in the 17th minute. Manang had their opportunities but failed to convert their chances. In the 22 editions of the tournament, Manang have reached 12 finals and won 6 of them. Meanwhile, it was only the second tournament appearance for BYSC, the club of Bhutanese refugees residing in the United States of America. The BYSC will now take on A-Division League club Church Boys in the semi-final. Church Boys had seen off domestic top-flight champions Machindra to move to the last 4. That's all for the moment. Thank you for watching. Have a good day.